Hello everyone and welcome back to Styles by E.
So today we're going to be drafting a basic bodice pattern. We're going to learn about the waist darts, the side darts, and the shoulder darts. So if something you're interested in, please stay tuned. So I'm going to do right now is to draw my shoulder measurement. Draw my shoulder line. So I took a baseline from the top of this pattern paper. So I'll label it as my shoulder line, and then from there I'm gonna come down now to get my bust point. Usually it's given as 10 inches for almost everybody. So I'm going to come down, measure 10 inches, and then use my rule to connect those dots as you're seeing me doing right now. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do now is to measure the under bust. For me personally, my under bust is 12 inches. So from the shoulder line, I'm going to come down by 12 inches and then draw a line as you see me doing right now. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do now is take my half length. So I'm going to use my tape from the shoulder line and I'm going to connect my half length. My half length is about 16 inches. So I'll mark that point as you see me doing right now with my pencil on the pattern paper and then use a rule to connect it. So all I'm doing right now is marking all my horizontal measurements from my shoulder line to my bust point to my on the bust to my half length, that's my waistline, and then from the waistline as well I'm going to also measure my hip line. That's by coming down from the waistline by 8 inches as you're seeing me doing right now. So I'm going to use my tape now to mark that 8 inches downwards from from the waistline, and then I'll use my rule to connect the line as well. So you're seeing me doing right now. So guys, after doing that, I'm gonna come up from my chest, from my bust point by 2 inches. Before that, I'll go ahead to label all these lines. That's my shoulder line. This is my bust point. That is my under bust. This is my waistline or my half length, and then that is my hip line. So I've gotten all these measurements. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start imputing my horizontal, my body's measurement. That's my shoulder. Starting from the shoulder, my shoulder by 2 is 8 inches. I marked that. I came down from where I marked by um I did something else here. I think I forgot. I just added an extra inch for the shoulder dart. So I came down by 1 inch, measured my neck width, which is 3 inches, and then I connected um the lines to get my shoulder slope. So whatever I got as my bust point, I came up by 2 inches to get the chest line. So when I marked that, I used a straight rule to connect the dots together to make my chest line. I went ahead to label it chest line. Then what I'm gonna do next is the measurement I had for my shoulder. I'm gonna represent that same measurement on the chest line so as to connect the shoulder slope to the chest line. So that's what I did right now. After connecting it, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my armhole. So I'm gonna measure my bust measurement. That's my bust circumference by 4. That's 9 inches. Then I added an extra allowance to be 10, and then I'm gonna just use a French curve to make a curve from that place I marked on my bust circumference through to the shoulder slope. After doing that, guys, this is what it looks like. Then I'll go ahead to impute all my body's measurements. I went straight to the waistline. I added my waist measurement, and then I'll use a rule to connect it as you see me doing right now. And then I went straight to the hip line and I marked my hip circumference by 4, and then I went ahead to use a straight rule to connect it. Now remember that your body is not straight, so I decided to use a French curve to curve that hip part a little bit to give it that shape we have on the hip as you're seeing me doing right now. So guys,
After doing that, I went ahead to trace it properly so it sits well. So the next thing I'm going to do now is my neck depth. I came down by 3 inches and then I used my French cuffs, connect it. So after doing that, then we're going to move into making the darts. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the waist dart, and I'm going to go straight to my waistline, and then we're going to start making the darts. So guys, I went ahead to measure my nipple to nipple measurement as you're seeing to be 3.5 inches. So I'll go ahead to mark it on my waistline. I'm gonna mark it on the bust point line. I'm gonna mark it on the under bust. I'm gonna mark it also on the hip line as you see me doing right now. Then I will use a straight rule to connect all this line way from the bust point down to the hip line as you see me doing right now. So guys, after doing all that, now we're gonna impute the dart for the waist. Now this can be used for making a top, a skirt. Now all I'm gonna do is go to my waistline and then take 1/2 inch on both sides as I'm doing right now. After doing that, I'm going to use my rule and connect it to the bust point on both sides, slanting it. I'm going to show you how I did it, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the hip. I came down. Now for the hip, I came up by 1/2 inch. So this is me connecting the lines from the waist to the bust point. Now that is the dart for the waist. So guys, after doing the waist dart, the next thing I'm going to do right now is the side dart. You can use that when you're making your corset. It makes things easier. My guys, like if you understand all this darts, I'm telling you, corset will not be a problem for you. So now moving on to the bust point, I came down from the bust point. Initially, I came down from the bust point by 1/2 inch, but I realized that that would be too small, so I came down by quarter, 3/4, 1 1/4. No, I think quarter. Is it quarter? What's it called? 3/4 of an inch, because my from my bust one to my other bust is just 2 inches. Depending on the size, you can decide to come down by 1 inch. It doesn't matter. So I came down by 3/4 of an inch, and then I connected it to the bust point. So guys, moving next, what we're gonna do next is the shoulder dart. So from my shoulder slope, I divided it by 2, and then I connected it straight to the bust point as you see me doing. And then from the shoulder, I'm going to take out that 1 inch I had initially. That's 1/2 inch on both sides, and then after doing that, I'll connect it to the bust point. So guys, after doing all that, these are basically the darts you need for your corset, your bustier. Now, if you have these in mind, from here you can be able to draft out your corset pattern, you can be able to draft out your princess dart pattern. I mean, this is made easy. So, guys, that's all about making drafting your big basic bodice patterns with various kinds of that. I really hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. Now if you want to draft the back pattern, it's quite easy. All you need to do is place a different pattern on it and take out your zipper allowance and then trace everything out. No big deal. So guys, this is it. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys in my next video. Bye.